Hi, I'm Andy with EcoCha, and we're here with you today to taste batch number 3 of the EcoCha Tea Club. And today we have the privilege of being in the home of Mr. Lee and Ms. Guo, from whom we procured this batch of tea. Mr. Lee just put the leaves in a teapot that was already warmed, so I can smell the leaves before they are exposed to water, but kind of warmed up by the heat of the teapot. This is a batch of Jin Xuan tea that was grown in Fenghuang village, just above us here in Lugu Township. Fenghuang translates into English as Phoenix village, which is a historical name for tea cultivation in Taiwan. This batch was a special find because it is a winter harvest that was bitten by the green leaf hopper, which is responsible for making Oriental beauty tea and what is now known as gui fei ta, or concubine tea. And the effect of the green leaf hopper is much less than it would be during the late spring, summer, possibly early fall. The green leaf hopper is more prevalent, has a stronger, a more intensified effect on the tea leaves as they're growing. So the flavor that results from that effect is much more obvious. This is a much subtler effect, but definitely different than an unbitten batch of Jin Xuan tea. This tea has been roasted by Mr. Lee 3 times over a number of weeks.
我觉得喝起来就是很舒服，觉得这里
温暖，对不对？对啊，适合冬天。我在家里有泡几次，我觉得是真的是很满的味道。对 ，full flavored。
我不觉得，就它已经没有
金萱的个性，对不对？好，
这是我们
这个是
家的
比较 honest 的说法，真的。
你看，在我们家里的茶，我们常常会很好闻，就是说，在家里茶我们都叫它李家茶，李家茶。
是。
那它不一定，它也许是大玉林，也许是梨山，但是来到我们家都是李家的梨山，李家的大玉林。我觉得它是不一样，就是说，它有我们自己去做它的味道。
是你调整的方式跟加工的方式是吗？对。而且我觉得你们喜欢，特别是贵妃类的茶、被虫摇的茶，你们喜欢每一批茶取一个名字，不一定要就是不要用一般的名字说这个是贵妃茶，因为被虫摇的茶每一批真的有它自己的个性，
不一样，对。
我们需要决定一个名字，我说我还没有问你们，你要把这个茶取什么名字？有吗？你们有没有取一个名字？
有。
叫什么？
笔给我借一下，站一下。
Yeah, there's this real kind of spicy, cinnamony. It reminds me of apple pie. 我觉得有苹果派的香气，真的，因为它有一点点肉桂的，还有甜度的，对，还有水果香。你写的你要解释啊，
欣欣向荣的欣。
对，我知道这个欣。
这是欣赏的欣，但是欣赏的欣其实很重要，它是得心里面那个心。对，你说苹果派，我觉得它很像那个苹果切了煮了，有没有？
对，
它是切块了，然后放在里面，在锅子里面煮。
对，它的甜度会跑出来比较多，对不对？比较
需要加一点点的酒。
对，这个也好。Nice whiskey soaked apples. That's what we're getting. 我刚刚讲英文的是说我有一点不愿意用贵妃的，因为我觉得跟一般的贵妃不一样，它比较没有很明显的蜂蜜味，它蜜香不是跟一般的我们比较标准的贵妃的，可是它有特色的，它有自己的特色。我自己猜的是因为是冬茶的跟加工的部分。
冬天本来就不容易。
对，就不容易找被虫咬的茶叶，
本来就不容易。
对。
那我们没有特别叫它贵妃，是因为你也知道，在我们家，我们一旦要称作贵妃，就必须很多部分都必须达到，我们才会全然称它叫贵妃。所以我们只叫它欣，而不叫它 就我们不会特别叫它贵妃，就是说应该这样讲，就是在我们家要到我们的贵妃等级，它的那个蜜味一定要更浓郁的多。
对。
它的茶汤它的滋味滑顺度 OK，但是它的蜜味还达不到那个。我们家里面自己对于贵妃的标准很高。
但这块茶量放很少，像这个壶的话，你看大概刚铺底就 OK。
Mr. Lee just made a very good point, which I discovered myself about the amount of tea to be used with this particular batch of tea. You can use significantly less tea leaves to get the optimal flavor, the optimal results that you want. So he said just barely covering the bottom of this teapot will be sufficient, actually optimal in brewing the pot of tea. Whereas if it were a standard Dongding or a high mountain tea, it would probably be almost double that amount. 应该是7-8克吧？
没有哦，
没有那么
到8克。
Okay. So maybe 6-7 grams of tea only for a teapot that looks like about 150 milliliters.
你看你的茶壶啊，这个用克是难讲。
这个大概6克就够。
这个大概没有到100，在120。
Okay. So I was just corrected. It's 120 milliliter teapot. 6 grams is about right. Very important, very specific, particularly with the type of tea that has its own personality. You really have to play with it, brew it in different ways each time to find out, discover, literally, what the best method is to brew a batch of tea. We encourage you to do that with every tea that we share in the tea club, because each month is going to have a completely different profile, and the actual constituents in the tea leaves, the way the tea leaves were processed, they necessitate that you become familiar with it in order to get the best that you can from it. So we're going to finish up with this 4th brew here, although this can be brewed at least 6 times and still get a full flavor.
所以了解它茶的性质茶的性质你知道吗？茶的个性，
对，
你要了解，你泡出来它才会很好喝。你不能说每种茶泡法都一样，
标准，对，
所以我泡了很多次，你茶要放多一点，跟放少的话还放刚刚好，它的味道是差不多。
所以有的人说啊，你茶万一放多了，你就快点冲出来，不一样，
对，所以这个是功夫茶的一个部分，一个很明显的部分，对不对？对。So here we have it in the home of Mr. Lee and Miss Guo, Li Jia Cha Se. We get to taste a very specific, very special batch of roasted Jin Xuan Bitten tea that has the Chinese name Xin Gui Fei. Xin is a sort of word that is used in the word for gratefulness and appreciation. Thanks for being with us in month 3 of the Eco Cha Tea Club, and we look forward to hearing your responses about this tea. Please post your comments below, and even better, post your tasting videos below. See you next month.